Hi everyone, it's Jasmine. Welcome back to my channel. I hope that you are having a great week so far. Today, or I should say tonight, I'm going to be doing the month of April tarot pull. So I'll be doing a card for each of the week. So the 4 weeks of April. So I have 3 different decks that I'll be pulling from. It's up to you to find out which deck will be vibrating for you. So which deck resonates for you. And the easiest way for you to figure that out is if you're really drawn to it. If you're not drawn to it, sometimes your gut reaction will be kind of like a clenched fist. So that's telling you that it's not for you. Okay, but if you're feeling like a sense of being drawn in, then that's meant for you. All right. So the first deck that I have is this one. So take a minute, feel it over. I'm sure my familiar will come over once he's done eating. Okay. The second deck that I'll be pulling from will be this one. And this one is an oracle deck too, so it doesn't really make a difference, but just so that way you guys are aware. And last but not least, this one right here. So hopefully I'm speaking loud enough. Everyone is in bed except for me. I've had to wait the whole day, and that's okay. I'm a bit of a night owl myself, so I'm fine with that. But my days have been very busy. Now that my 2 youngest have figured out the gate that leads to the rest of the house, so I kind of don't have any time to stop. I'm go all day. So from the morning when we wake up to the end of nighttime. So this is pretty much the time where I'm going to be doing most of my video stuff now. So gotta work with what you got, right? So I'm working with the first deck. So I'll show you the front that I showed you before. So this is the deck that I'm pulling from right now. We're doing the month of April, first week. In the second week. Third week. last week of April. All right. It's very interesting. I'm used to a little mix and match. This is a lot of the same, which is very interesting. For me, it's interesting for me because I'm used to like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. No, it's pretty much consistent, which is interesting for me. Okay, so the first card I have here, the first week we got in April for you in store is 8 of Cups. Okay. So like I said, I don't go by book. Okay, the only time I go by book is if I got a new deck, and I wouldn't be using a new deck unless for practice, right? So I go by spirit. So they tell me stuff and I speak it out loud. So really the tarot is just a tool for me to utilize rather than use the book with, I guess. So it's kind of like a channeled message in a way. So that's how I operate. Not like the typical tarot reader, I suppose. So with all transformations, all movement in any sense, transformations, changes, especially because of the fact that we've already been changed into winter, into spring, and the fact that we've gone through our full moon, or is it new moon? Either way, we are going forward, we're progressing. So this card is saying that we are moving forward in our emotional state, which is a very positive card. Means that we're not in stagnation anymore. We're not in a world of woe or in a place of sadness, is what they're saying, in a place of dark, which would be almost like a place of depression, sort of. So that's what they're saying, is that you're moving ahead, which is good. Emotionally, you're moving ahead. So you're overcoming blockages. Okay. So that week you'll be smooth sailing emotionally. Anything that you have to deal with, whether that be relationship wise. I'm not talking about like love relationships, but I'm talking about like friendships, family, or what have you. Those will be smooth. Your personal self will be a little bit more smoother, more confident. Maybe your workplace or work environment will be smoother, and just to be a little bit calmer. Okay. And just because your outlook will be different because of this change of how you are looking at things differently. That makes sense. Okay. And the second one that I have for the second week is the Knight of Wands. Okay, what they're saying is stubbornness. That's what I'm hearing is stubbornness. Okay, so maybe a little bit too hard-headed when it comes to dealing with situations. I'm hearing home life. So this is the time where maybe stubbornness isn't the way to be going about things. Perhaps a better term would be compromise. Only because of the fact that if you continue being stubborn, you're going to end up in a little bit of a tiff. And it's better to learn compromise than to dig your heels in at this point, right? It would just make matters worse. And you don't really want that, do you? Just curious. Coming from a stubborn person, I'm just saying, you don't want to make matters worse, do you? Oh, goodness. All right, so that's for the second week. So how about you undig those heels, okay? Unless you really have to keep those heels firm. Like, if you really want that job, well, then yes, be stubborn about it. But when it comes to certain things that you can compromise on, like, okay, I'll do the dishes tonight. Well, then, yeah, don't be silly about it, right? Yeah, so that's all I'm getting on that one is don't be stubborn. Don't dig your heels in, okay? The third week, I have 4 of Wands for you. Sorry, sometimes I get like a high-pitched voice. Or it's like really thundering loud. I hear rejoice. So like a celebration. The third week of April. So like a celebration of accomplishments, celebration of what you've gone through. Okay, so it might seem small to you, but to someone else it's huge, right? And you have to really kind of look at it in a different viewpoint, and you should realize that it is an accomplishment and that you should rejoice in it and you should be happy for that accomplishment, and be able to share that with others as well. Okay, they're saying find enjoyment for what you have done. So obviously, yes, it is an accomplishment thing. So maybe not being so hard on yourself. Okay. They're also saying teamwork as well. I think that one has to apply more to a job. Remember that this goes for different people. It's not just one person. So whoever is picking this deck, there's multiple people picking this deck at the same time. Okay? So teamwork at your job. All right? I'm hearing all is fair trade. So basically making sure that everything is on an equal playing field, right? So that way you're not doing most of the workload, and you're not also letting them take on most of the workload either. Okay, whether or not you're in a management position or not. Okay, you should be working as a team. Okay, and even recognizing the accomplishments of your team. Mm-hmm. So I think that's pretty much it for that one. So a couple of messages for that one. Okay. Three of Wands is the last week. Okay. Okay, and they're saying don't leap. So whatever you're planning at the end of the month, whether that be a big expenditure, okay, whether that be a leap into a new relationship or taking on more responsibilities at your work, okay, or taking more responsibilities on your spiritual path, okay, you need to stop for a minute and you need to plan things out, okay. Planning things out will mentally give you some clarity, as well as it will kind of show you a different viewpoint too, right? It will show you more of a logical way to view things rather than just jumping into it, which is always a good idea, especially when it comes to bigger decisions. And that's all they're going to tell me for that one. So there you go. There's that one for April. Once again, that one's deck number 1. All right. I think I'm going to need just a little bit of water wherever I put my water. Where did I put it? I put it somewhere. Oh, well, then I guess I won't have it. Oh dear. All right, so working with deck number 2. So this is your deck. Okay. Then I will be drawing from that right about in a couple of minutes. Obviously, they want you to know about white magic. So, whoever that's meant for, white magic. Okay. They're talking about healing. So they want you to do some healing work. They want you to do some inner looking, basically, and want you to look at yourself and be able to do some healing work for yourself. Okay, so get in there, look around, see what needs to be dusted, see what needs to be cleaned, and facilitate that healing that you need. Okay. When a card drops, it drops. They got something to say. And it's not like, ooh, it's like, no, we got a message to deliver now. Okay? So there's your message. Do some healing work, okay? And also protection too. So like house protection, or like carrying some stones or something to negate negativity away from you as well. That also helps too. So they're talking about healing and protection. Possibly healing for others, but you can't heal others unless you heal yourself. That's healing 101. Okay. So let's do this. Deck number 2 for April week 1. Deck number 2. I had one funny antidote. I had one psychic, medium, what have you, tarot reader tell me that I should never just use one finger to pick up a card. I have been using one finger my whole life, and that finger has always worked for me just fine. Just how I operate. Everybody operates differently. I don't use my whole hand. I use one finger. Okay. Okay, first week of April, we have Autumn Splendor. So take this time to really enjoy yourself, your beauty. Okay? Especially given the fact that you might have been, the kid in school that got bullied. All right? Okay? If you have a hard time finding those traits in yourself, write 3 things down that you like about your physical appearance, okay? And then write 3 things that you like about your inner self, all right? Okay? Seriously, do it. And do this not just one time, do this multiple times, okay? And it's like an affirmation until you believe it, all right? Because other people find you very attractive. And if you're not in a relationship already, then there's someone who is obviously eyeing you up. That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm picking up on. All right, the second week of April, the Green Man. Sorry. They're funny. They're like, that's where the white magic card comes into. So basically, this one's about clean up. So you're doing some clean up business, because I'll explain it later when we get to week 4. Okay. So you're gonna do some cleanup business, so healing work, on yourself. Okay. Probably because of you needing to do affirmations about your self-worth, about, your beauty inside and out. That's why. Okay. So doing some healing work on yourself and letting go of any negative emotions that are tied to self. Or letting go of behaviors that you don't like about yourself, that you can change. All right. Anything that you dislike, there's always the possibility of change. So it's just so much as reprogramming, right? You need to make a list and find out which one to start with, if you even have something to start with. It could be something really small. It could be that you dislike that you smoke, right? Change that habit. It could be that you dislike that you have a fiery temper. Well, then work on that. But this is the week of learning how to heal and try to change some habits that you don't exactly find are fitting into your lifestyle right now, or finding that's fitting into yourself, if that makes sense. Okay, that's all they're going to tell me for that one. Okay, 3rd week, I've got the Emerald Princess, Emerald Princess. So this one's more about appreciating your spirit, feeding your spirit. So that can be taken in many ways. So whether that be if you're actually into spiritual matters, or if you're not. If you're into spiritual matters, cool. So you know how to nourish that part, meditation, rituals, things like that. Go buy yourself a new rock, okay? Those who are not in the spiritual matter of things, which is fine, you don't have to be, okay? Don't worry about it. Once again, it's also about feeding your spirit, your soul, right? Which is another form of decompressing, right? For even us, whether that be meditation, going for a walk, coloring those coloring book pages, finding some you time, okay? Because this is the part where after you've done all this work, you're connecting with yourself again, okay? So you're kind of reconnecting all those bonds. Plus, it's gonna tie nicely because I think the new moon or is the full moon? I think it's the new moon. I can never keep track. I think it's the new moon. Is coming into light that week. I think. I really need to start writing it down on my calendar. Really. If anything, I'm going to give you a good laugh at this. Okay. Anyways. Okay, so the reason why I was kind of chuckling all the way through this is because during the 4th week, I have the card of the entwined. Okay? So this right here is like a heads up. Like there is someone coming into your path. It doesn't really always mean that there's going to be a lover. Doesn't always mean that there's going to be like a romantic relationship or be romantically involved. If you already have a relationship, it could mean that it's going to be the restart. Because relationships do that, right? They kind of fade for a little bit. And then they do a little weird kickstart, restart thing. As I don't know if some of you realize that or not. It's almost like that seems to happen every so often. It's very possible that you will come into contact with someone that you will have high emotions with, right? Whether that be on a friendship level or a relationship level, right? Either way, you'll be able to be bonded very securely. And very intimately, too. Because you've been through all the self-love stuff that you needed to go through, you'll be able to accept the love that you'll be gaining from whoever you're meeting at the end of the month. Or whoever is going to be resurfacing into your life that you haven't really appreciated fully. I guess that's what they gotta say. And last but not least, this one here. Whoop. I guess it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter to me, but some people will be like, oh, it's upside down. To me, I'm like, doesn't matter to me. I just read them the way they are. Spirit's just the one that's yapping at me. I'm just here telling you what they're telling me. All right. First week of April. Second week of April. Third week of And last but not least, the 4th week of April. All right. Pardon me. All right, the first week I have the High Priestess. So they're saying, looking at both sides of the coin. Okay. So not necessarily looking at everything all positive, not looking at everything all negative. You need to find balance. Okay. I get the feeling that you're the type of person that either takes one or the other. It's time to shift that thinking and be able to balance it. Okay. Because in life we need to balance things too, right? We need to balance our emotional state, we need to balance our health, we need to balance our finances, so on and so forth. You get the picture, right? So mentally it makes sense that we need to balance that too, only because once everything seems balanced, then our spirit, our soul is balanced as well, right? Okay. As my mom said, if you find yourself thinking negatively, you write down those negative thoughts, and then for every negative thought, you need to counteract that negative thought with a positive one. It's a very hard to do, but it is a very good exercise to also partake in. All right. So every negative thought that you have, write a positive one beside it. So maybe try that exercise to see if you can balance that. Okay. The second card I have is the Holy Man. If you don't have a dream journal right now, it might be a good idea to get one. Or start writing down the dreams that you might be having. Or any symbols that catch your eye. Once again, symbols being flowers, rocks, animals, things that really stand out, call to you. So that way you can take a look at it at a later time or research it if necessary. All right? Because those symbols might mean something later on. Okay? Not specifically for this week, but maybe for later on. So maybe later in a couple of weeks or later in the next month, or be it in a couple months. And then you can look back and go, oh, is that what they meant? Right? I think that there's going to be a lot of sensitivity with this as well. So almost like almost like an empathic sensitivity. So feeling others a little bit more heavily than what you're used to. So be aware of that. Might be a good idea to look into some protective stones, like black tourmaline or jet, hematite, things that will bounce the energy off if you need it. Okay, it's always a good idea. All right. A lot of energy coming through for that week, especially. So if you are in tune to energy, maybe take that time to meditate that week. If you're just starting out, even take the time to meditate and focus on it. There seems to be a lot going on, I think, that week energetically. So that's just a heads up. Okay. All right. The third card I have is the Aneer of Air. Okay. So things are going to be a little bit heavy for the third week for you. Heavy in a sense of heavy in a sense of mentally, and also in your work. Whether that be with working with like work or even working with others around you too. So like teamwork idea. Okay, they're asking you to just bite your tongue and to keep moving on. Okay, sheath the sword. Make peace. They're also saying trust in yourself. So whatever move that you're going to be making, whatever choices that you're going to be making, you also need to trust as well. Go with your gut reaction. Okay? I'm not saying like, ooh, that's something nice on Amazon. Let me go buy that. No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, oh, I think I should be doing that rather than doing this. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying, oh, look at this nice trinket on Amazon. I'm going to buy it. No, I'm not saying that. Okay. Just saying. Okay, the last one I have is the Reader of Air. Right off the bat, they're saying playfulness. Sometimes they can be so quick and sometimes not so quick. No offense. Okay? Because it's like the first three cards are like serious. And then bam, you gotta be playful. So lighten up a little bit and give yourself that sense of play. So finding that inner kid in you, finding some kind of downtime for yourself too, or enjoying the company of friends and family, because we all need that too, right? Yeah, I don't think I have any more than that. That's all they're saying is playfulness. So there you have it. 3 decks for the month of April. So hopefully that kind of helps give an idea, an insight of what may bring in April for all of you. Just want to throw this out here while I'm doing this video is that I do have a few events going on live over on the Eternal Circle page on the FB link through the description page on here. So I'm going to be doing a meditation to do a live meditation, on April 9th at 7 p.m. You're more than welcome to join me. Throwing that out there. Please check out my links, see what's going on, what I'm doing, what I'm up to, what I'm doing event-wise. If I'm doing any events that you're interested in, that resonates for you, come by, check it out. I know that I have a few things planned for this channel. So I'm thinking of doing maybe a couple of meditations here, and a couple of just some talk sessions about different topics as well. So I think the first idea I'm going to be talking about is self-healing, which I think is a very important topic for most people to cover, especially when there's so many different viewpoints on self-healing. It's always good to get other viewpoints as well, especially when there's a lot of generic viewpoints. So I'll be discussing that at some point when I make another video. And I hope you found this helpful. As always, I hope that you like and subscribe. Like I said, check out my links. All right. Have a good evening, or good morning, depending when you're watching this. Ciao.